Hi guys, and welcome back to another muscle up video. In this video I will answer all your questions from the previous comments, and I will also give you a lot of good muscle up tips to make you learn the muscle up faster and safer. And I will also recommend downloading my free muscle up technique checklist, where you get all my tips in a structured way with videos to every tip. It's completely free and you can download it by clicking on the link in the description below. Alright, let's get into it. What great videos, bro. How should I train explosive pull-ups? 5 reps for 3 sets? So that's a great question. You could do explosive pull-ups like this. So you're pulling up and you want the bar touching under your chest or lower. But I always recommend doing the half muscle up instead, because then you also get in the transition exposure for the muscle up. And the only difference between the explosive high pull up and the half muscle up is that you're also pulling the bar towards your chest and also throwing the chest forward. And the end position is where you're resting your stomach on the bar. So instead of just doing the explosive pull up, you're doing this. How long normally, approximately, does takes to unlock bar muscle up with each colored band? Thank you so much for the question, and that is so individual, and it all depends on how strong you are when you're starting your muscle up journey. One band can take a few weeks to a few months, but I would say around 1 to 2 months is how long it takes before you can move on to the next band. I hope that helps. Starting the warm up as usual with the purple band for 2 reps. Moving on to the black band, 1 or 2 reps, and I always recommend warming up. Your work sets will become so much better than if you're just jumping into it straight away. The only times I injured myself when training muscle ups is when I didn't warm up properly. So my number 1 recommendation is just to do a general warm up for like 5 minutes, warming up your biceps, your shoulders, and then moving on warming up with resistance bands. And my general warm up consists of doing a lot of foam rolling, shoulders, biceps, triceps, and that really helps me warm up for the muscle up to get the joints and muscles warm. So this is a recommendation for sure. So 1 rep with the red band, and this is the last set of the warm-up, and after that I will move on to bodyweight muscle ups and go through some technique tips for you. All right, 1 rep. And doing this progressive warm-up really tells you how your muscle-up workout will be. If you're feeling explosive, if you're feeling too sore, but this feels kind of good. All right, so I would recommend grabbing the bar about shoulder width apart, like this. And then you want to use a small swing forward, like this. And you want to swing the body as one piece. You don't want to swing your lower body like that. You also want to relax your core, your legs. And you want to be pulling up later in the swing. And when you are about parallel with the poles in your swing, you pull up explosively and then row the bar to under your chest. And that looks like this. And you can either choose to do the half muscle up or the full muscle up. Most of the time I'm just doing the half muscle up. I include muscle ups in my pull day, and I'm excluding all the push movements like the straight bar dip, which I save for my push day in a couple of days. So as you can see, the first contact with the bar is almost under my navel, and that is possible by using the correct technique. You're pulling explosively and then pulling the bar towards you like a straight bar row, and that will give you momentum from the pull and from the row. So a common mistake is thinking that the muscle up needs to be a pull up and then a dip, but that will make the muscle up much harder. And I will show you 2 reps right now where I'm using the technique that I like. So you're pulling away from the bar by pulling with the elbows facing forward. So you're creating distance from the bar. And then when you're about here, you start to pull the bar towards you. So there's 2 pulling movements involved before you get into the dip position. So I will do 2 reps where you will see those 2 movements before I land on the bar. And that makes the muscle ups so much easier. So the only thing I'm thinking about when doing my muscle ups is pulling later in the swing as explosively as I can, rowing the bar to my chest like a straight bar row, and I do that very aggressively, and at the same time throwing the chest over the bar. It might sound a lot, but once you embody that, so to speak, the muscle up will become very easy. So putting it all together, it looks like this. Too easy. All right, let's take a look from this angle as well. The same technique. The most important thing is pulling the bar towards your chest, and the first contact you want with the bar is when the bar is around your navel or lower. So about shoulder width apart, pulling later in the swing, and then rowing your chest over the bar. One more. And when you're using that technique, you can really see how clean the muscle ups are. And because I'm relaxing my core and legs, there's no leg momentum, there's no kipping. The only focus is pulling up and then rowing the bar towards your navel.